consumer debt in the US has been steadily climbing to eye-watering levels. And it's not just rising a little bit. Consumer debt is reaching levels that have economists and analysts looking like they've seen a ghost. Now, we're talking credit cards, mortgages, auto loans, student loans, debts that have become part of daily life for most Americans. But just how deep is this debt mountain? And what does it mean for the economy as a whole? To put things in perspective, let's look at the numbers. Consumer debt in the US is well over $17 trillion. Yes, trillion, with a T. That's a number so high, it's almost like monopoly money. But this isn't a board game. It's a stark reality with potentially serious consequences. Now, let's talk about why this debt keeps going up. Interest rates have skyrocketed in recent years. Every time the Federal Reserve raises rates to try to manage inflation, it also makes borrowing more expensive. So, that $1,000 you owed on your credit card last year? Well, you're paying more interest on it now, meaning it's even harder to pay off. It's a bit like a hamster running in a wheel, except in this case, the hamster is carrying a credit card bill, a car loan, and student debt all at once. So, why do people keep taking on more debt despite these rising rates? One reason is inflation itself. Everything costs more. Groceries, gas, rent, even basic goods are hitting record highs. And when wages don't keep pace, people often rely on credit to fill the gaps. I mean, have you seen the price of eggs lately? Who knew breakfast would be the new luxury meal? We also have to talk about credit card debt. US credit card balances have surpassed $1 trillion for the first time ever. What does that mean? Well, let's just say it's not a good sign. Credit card debt tends to be the most expensive kind of debt, with interest rates often well over 20%. The longer people carry these balances, the more they pay in interest, and the deeper into debt they go. Think of it like a snowball rolling downhill, getting bigger and bigger until it's an avalanche. So, what's going to happen if people start defaulting? If enough people can't pay back their debt? The real kicker is how this debt affects the average American's ability to save. With more income going toward paying off debt, saving for emergencies or retirement is becoming a luxury. It's no surprise that a large portion of Americans don't have even $500 saved for an unexpected expense. And what about student loans? With payments resuming after a long pause, millions of borrowers now have another monthly bill to add to their already tight budgets. For many, it's not just a financial strain, but a ticking time bomb. Some experts are worried that when people can't make ends meet, we could see a wave of delinquencies that sends shockwaves across the economy. So, what's being done about it? The Federal Reserve is trying to manage inflation with rate hikes, but this is like walking a tightrope. Raise rates too much, and people's loans become unbearable. But don't raise them enough, and inflation keeps eating away at purchasing power. It's like watching someone try to play Jenga with one hand. One wrong move, and everything could come crashing down. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, this all sounds pretty grim. Is there any good news here? Well, it's complicated. If inflation slows down, it might relieve some of the pressure on everyday expenses. That could give people a chance to pay down some of their debt instead of taking on more. But as it stands, we're in a delicate situation where any little shake in the economy could have a big impact. Another potential silver lining? The government is aware of the consumer debt issue, and they're taking steps, albeit slow ones, to try to address it. Whether it's discussions around forgiving student loan debt or revisiting credit regulation, there are talks happening. But will they be enough? Only time will tell. But hey, until then, keep an eye on your credit card balance and maybe skip the avocado toast for a while. After all, it's a jungle out there. Thanks for sticking with me as we explore the ups and downs of consumer debt. This is an issue that affects all of us, and staying informed is one of the best things we can do. If you found this video helpful, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing for more content on today's big financial issues. And hey, if you've got any debt-busting tips or stories, drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear them. Remember, We're all in this together, so let's make smarter financial moves and keep our eyes on the road ahead.